There's never been a time when we haven't had to collaborate as an industry, but there have been particular challenges. And I think that's one of the really fascinating things about all of us here, because here at this conference, we bring together law enforcement, regulators, and of course, those of you who are in the industry who also participate.
Mastering the reinvention of AML means staying ahead of the curve. AML has changed dramatically in the years that I've been in the industry, and the two areas it's changed most is in interpersonal relations with law enforcement and in technology.
When we talk about reinventing anti-money laundering, it's really all about knowledge, because you have to know the issues inside and out. You have to know more than just the regulations themselves to be able to actually adapt to changes and make those innovations in the anti-money laundering space that we really want to see.
We've had artificial intelligence added, we've had machine learning, we've had tremendous amounts of growth in our Excel capability and our data mining. So keeping up with the interpersonal and the technology is the mastering part of the industry.
What it really comes down to is when you're adapting to change, you have to put in place a process. The challenge that I give to my team is, look, we're catching what we need to catch, but we need to be better at doing it. We need to be more efficient at doing it. And that's what we have to do every time there's a change, every time you have to adapt to something new, every time you put in a new process.
I think where that comes in reinventing AML is to show that you don't have to be a lifelong AML professional to be considered an expert. You don't have to be a big name in the industry to share knowledge.
ACAMS has been a part of both anticipating that change and preparing the anti-financial crime officer to be a different person, to have greater technology skills, to understand fraud and to understand IT, to take in cryptocurrencies, to understand some of the cutting-edge new ways in which terrorists are using financial institutions to move funds.
Some ways that I keep up with the reinvention of AML and new crimes is I continue to learn all the time. Even though I am a BSA officer, there are things changing every day in our industry, and ACAMS in particular is wonderful at keeping us updated on those changing technologies, those changing crime methods.
We have to continuously be learning and adapting to that change. And so whether it's something like the sanctions on Venezuela, where there were hints that the administration gave about measures that they were going to take, and it started small and targeted, so banks had to really adapt on the fly to dealing with that. I've been involved in anti-financial crime my entire career. I was involved in the kind of analytic efforts, sanctions side, to cut off revenues and assets to the Gaddafi regime so that they couldn't use that money to prosecute the war against their own citizens. It was this kind of fight against illicit finance, right? They had stolen all this money from their people, and they were going to try to use it to buy weapons to kill them. And we were able to get in the middle of that by blocking all the assets overseas and really deprive the regime of those resources.
During this conference, you're going to hear about all the new challenges that are coming into the world from the fact that criminals continue to do what they do. And also, you'll talk with some of the experts and hear from some of the experts about what can be done to counter what criminals are doing. So enjoy the next 2.5 days. Reach out, meet other people, share ideas, learn from the sessions, and be aware that we at ACAMS are honored to have you here and thankful for all that you do to fight financial crime.